We humans are naturally and understandably interested in whether there is a spiritual world, whether there is a God or gods who inhabit it, and what is behind the existence and meaning of the visible world. Such questions touch us deeply, and the answers we arrive at bring important practical questions of their own. There are three basic responses we can make to the important question of the existence of a spiritual world. The first response is to determine that there is no God and no spiritual world, or less decisively, to conclude that even if such realities exist, we could not discover them. In either case, the end result is the conclusion that the question of God and the spiritual world have no bearing upon how we live. For the moment, let's set this response aside. The other two responses to the question of the existence of the spiritual world both hold that such an invisible, divine world exists. The dividing line between these responses is in how they answer the question of whether the God or gods who inhabit the spiritual world have revealed themselves to the human race definitively, authoritatively, and universally. If we arrive at the conclusion that there is a spiritual realm, but reject the claim that humanity has received a definitive and authoritative revelation, we are left to our own devices. Buddhism, the higher reaches of Hinduism, Neo-Platonism, Taoism, and to some degree Confucianism reflect sophisticated human attempts at discovering the deepest truths of the spiritual realm, following in the path of often impressive spiritual masters. The practical consequences of such a view are demonstrated by a famous tale told by the Buddha. Recognizing that many people were in constant dispute about great spiritual matters, a Raja gathered together a group of men born blind. He brought them all before an elephant and asked a simple question: what is an elephant? However, the Raja presented each of the blind men with a different part of the elephant. One the trunk, another an ear, another a tusk, and another the tuft of the tail, and declared to each, "Here is an elephant." Each of the men was asked what an elephant is, and answered accordingly. The man who held the trunk said, "An elephant is a plow." The man who held an ear, a winnowing basket. A tusk, a plowshare. The tuft of the tail, a brush. The blind men then began to quarrel, each disputing with others and maintaining his own limited perception to be the reality. The moral of the Buddha's story is clear. It does not make sense to be overly dogmatic about the complex and mysterious nature of reality if humanity is merely groping after truth. If there has been no definitive revelation, we are left to do the best we can, recognizing that humanity is blind to much of spiritual reality. But what if humanity has not been left to its own devices? If we arrive at the conclusion that there is a spiritual realm, and that God has revealed himself definitively, authoritatively, and universally, the very nature of religion changes. Such a revealed religion would not be just another admirable attempt to discover the nature of the spiritual world, but instead a complete and reliable vision of reality. There has only been one instance in which a people's claim that God has revealed himself in such a manner has been taken seriously by large numbers of people over a long period of time. And that is the claim of the Israelites. From the time of their ancient origins, the Israelites understood themselves to have been chosen by God through no merit of their own, to be the means by which he would speak to the human race and intervene in human history. While it may seem overly exclusive to say that the Jewish claim is the only such claim on offer, try to think of another. Today, more than half the population of the world, all who identify as Jews, Christians, and Muslims look to that revelation as the foundation of their faith. The fact that Christianity is founded on a definitive revelation from God has important implications. The main question facing those who are looking into Christianity and for Christians practicing their faith is not, what is my personal view of Christian ideas? It is rather, is the Christian claim that God has revealed himself definitively to the human race true? If the claim is true, and the Christian revelation is from God, then the only reasonable thing to do is to receive it and attempt to put it into practice. If the claim is not true, and there has been no revelation from God, then the obvious thing to do is to reject it as a counterfeit and to look elsewhere for wisdom. It is peculiar that so many people, including many Christians, do neither. They say they are Christian, and then they treat the faith as though it were a bundle of suggestions and insights to take or leave as a matter of taste or personal judgment, instead of viewing it as an urgent message from God to the human race concerning our ultimate happiness and how to achieve it. Clear thinking should lead us at least this far. Christianity is either a revelation to be received and obeyed, or it is a tissue of falsehoods that should be rejected. This vague middle ground that treats it as neither the one nor the other is intellectually incoherent and spiritually unsatisfying. The very good news is that God has indeed revealed himself in Christ, and that our highest happiness will be found in embracing that astonishing revelation.